Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Yo, it's Motivational Monday here on the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio. I'm back in South Florida after going all over the place. Out of the country, in the country, in another country, within this country. And we were at Hell's Heroes. The music festival was amazing. We'll talk probably more about that on Wednesday. We'll give you a little recap, and we've had some interviews playing from that. But today, I'll tell you what, we had Passover, we had Easter. You know what that means? Spring has sprung. But what has it sprung? We're going to find out in a second when we bring on the pet health guru. And then after the segment with the pet health guru, where we're going to talk about that, we're going to talk with Michael Barbarita with Next Step CFO with some powerful business strategies. The speed to lead. You need the speed to lead in business. All right, let's bring on Studio Nut and the pet health guru. Hello. So, spring, what has it sprung, pet health guru?
Well, I remember last fall when we started talking about there being only two seasons, poison season and allergy season. And we're now past Easter, so that means we're in allergy season. Detox.
Yeah, detox from all the crap that people probably ate on Easter. A lot of chocolate, a lot of sugar.
Between Halloween and Easter.
Yeah, 100%. So
sugar highs all over the place.
So tell us about, what's the deal with allergies and how do we combat them without, people are so easy nowadays for humans, and I know they do it for their pets too. They're so easy to just take a pill. Like even in dating, like if I'm allergic to cats. And so women like, okay, so just take some meds. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take meds to date you. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to poison my body. There's got to be a better way, Bill.
There absolutely is. And first off, I want to start out by explaining that an allergy expression, that itching and sneezing and hives and rashes and all of that stuff, basically is a made-up term when veterinarians and physicians couldn't figure out what it was, or at least wouldn't admit to what it is, which is when we look at it, the symptoms of allergy and the symptoms of detox are identical. They're one and the same. But doctors, veterinarians can't talk about detoxification to any great extent, about poisoning, because they sell this stuff. They're the ones putting it in. On your pet, it's the flea and tick meds and the Vax and, all these other things that they do. Just the meds, just even general antibiotics mess up the body. And, of course, same thing with doctors with, people. I mean, it's like, they do all this testing, all these allergy tests and everything else, and then they put you on antihistamines and steroids and things of that nature that are destroying your body so it can't handle all the rest of the toxins coming from the chemtrails in our foods and our water and environment, chemicals, all of that sort of thing, laundry detergent. The body's got to get rid of it. Otherwise, we die. And these are all just symptoms of that bodily process of getting rid of poison. It's plain and simple.
So what do you recommend to pet owners that they go to their vet and the vet says, oh, you need this, it's going to cost $4,500 and and they will spend that on their pet before they'll spend it on their own human body.
Right. It's they sell off of fear. We know that. That's how the whole medical community is set up. And if you don't do this, you will eventually die. Well, we'll all eventually die anyway, but you just want to speed up the process with your drugs. But you also want to make sure that process takes long enough so I can clean up your bank account. Unfortunately, that's the system that's been set up in medicine. But I mean, it's quite simple. When you're put in that fear-based position, I mean, I got a post over the weekend that, I mean, it was devastating. They waited 3 hours in the waiting room with a dog that suddenly crashed. In the waiting room where they're waiting for 3 hours, there's a big screen TV that keeps a commercial on a loop for an allergy medication, a scratch and itch medication that she had to endure for 3 hours while she was waiting, and they kept coming out with pieces of paper. We can do this for this amount of money. This, please sign here, please, $5,000, or put your dog to sleep.
Hey,
Totally distraught.
that stuff kind of blows my
It's all about
mind,
the money.
to be honest. More money,
Especially-
more money, more money.
Especially if you think
does
about
mine
it.
too.
If you think about it from like a
Yeah.
desensitized point of view, right? It's cheaper to just get a new one.
It would be, but nobody does that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Now, I
but-
have seen, talking about allergies between pets and humans, I have seen allergy medication that is geared, it's marketed towards pets like cats and dogs. What's the difference between their allergy medication versus human allergy medication?
Ooh.
Because the pet one is more expensive
There
than the human
are
one,
none. Number one,
and they have the same ingredients.
absolutely. And not only that, 90% of those drugs have never been tested on animals, so they have no idea what the dosage would really be if there was truly a dosage. I mean, all that stuff is made up. This is
The
just,
animal can't talk to you.
fairyland stuff to make money. I give you a condition that you don't like. You are indoctrinated to run to medicine, not health, but medicine, and we will give you something that'll suppress and hide the symptom so you don't see it anymore. And in most cases, I mean, all drugs are poisonous anyway. So we are destroying something else in your body. And when we do that, now we have another med to disguise the poisoning in the first place. And of course, that's why people end up with 10, 15, 20, 40 different prescriptions for themselves and 20 for their dog.
And that's how companies sell medicine cabinets too. You don't need a medicine cabinet if you don't have that many drugs.
That's right. That's
I
right.
don't have one.
And why are they the size of a closet now?
I remember my
mine was
mother
built
had.
into the house. I never open it.
Yeah, I remember my mother. She had more medicine and bottles than anything I ever saw in my life to this day. It's amazing how you could sit there and think it's
And
normal.
the thing is it's funny because I mean, if you look at my counter, okay, you'll see a bunch of different herbals, foods that will take care of those symptoms and get rid of the poison that you've been putting in your body. I mean, Pets, Fiesta Pet Deli, and the BioComplete line, and it's just mind-boggling that people look. They still even understand that there are such things as chemtrails, and that food can actually make a difference. And when they mention it to doctors or veterinarians, oh my God, you can't use this type of ancient technology because it'll mess up my treatment plan for you.
Well, check this out. I was just in Costa Rica, okay? And you know what happened to me there? I couldn't even finish any of my meals. I was getting full. Why? Because it had no junk in it that made me crave more, and it had all the nutrition I needed that I didn't need more. What a concept. I haven't felt full like that since I've gotten
I
back
know.
to the States, by the way.
I know. And even the cleanest food that you can get is still tainted. While you were traveling around, I actually did a couple of different podcasts on Pet Health Cafe. That the last one was on eating raw. Now, one of the things that you have to think about is why are we the only species on the whole planet that has to cook our food? Everything eats raw, unprocessed, not ultra processed, not cooked foods in the world. Everything else eats raw every day. And they're surviving. They've survived for some of these animals for millions of years. And yet we have to do this kind of stuff. Even our water is processed, if you stop and think about that. We
Yeah.
can't drink
Yeah.
real water.
Oh, no doubt. And it's got so much poison in it sometimes. Like it's weird that you have to
Yeah.
filter water that is because you got to filter stuff out that they put in it.
Yeah. It's got to be treated for, chlorines and chloramines and fluorides and all this other stuff. I actually did a post on one of our the veterinarian guests that I have on my show sometimes, and they were talking about some of the injectables that are required, actually how it reacts with the iron in the body and causes the heart problems. Well, we heard that during the pandemic, that all these things with the heart have surfaced. It's the same vaccine, basically. And
Mm.
on the other side of that, though, I said, here's the problem. All your farm animals that are commercially raised in big companies, they've gotten these injectables as well. So the meat that you're buying that's supposed to be healthy and clean isn't. And the same thing is even with the foods. They're putting those compounds into, I saw this morning, tomatoes and lettuce contains those same so-called preventative characteristics that they've actually put it in the food supply. And your body's got to get rid of it. So now we're going to have the symptoms, whether it's an allergy inside the body by destroying your heart, or on the outside with a skin rash or sneezing and coughing and all of that.
What do you think, Juan? Does your guppy have any allergies?
They haven't told me anything, so I don't think they do. But I do agree with the fact that they're putting way too many chemicals in our food. Like, if you look at something basic like bread, right? It's supposed to have 4 ingredients. Like flour, water, salt, yeast. Those are like the core ingredients for bread. But you look at like a loaf of bread in the store, and it has like 20, 30 ingredients.
And if you can't pronounce
I
those
talk about that
ingredients,
often. And in fact, I heard something today too. Yeah, it's even worse. I also saw a doctor on one of the feeds that I get this morning talking about heart problems, and you know, and was describing it in form of, let's say you've got a sliver, you don't do anything with it. What happens to it? It becomes inflamed, and if you don't get the sliver out, eventually it'll fill up with pus. And then, when you take it out, you need the antibiotics and everything else that have to go along with that. Well, when you talk about that same, that pus, well, every time you get the flu, that pus that your body developed, that mucus, goes around the heart. It stresses the heart. And after 20 or 30 years of getting the flu once or twice a year, you've got major heart failure. It's not about the blood. It's not about the plaque. It's not about any of that stuff, the cholesterol. It's about that we keep putting that poison around our heart. and the body's trying to protect us. But we put drugs that stop that process of elimination, of getting rid of that pus and mucus that's throughout our whole body.
So why don't you tell everybody how they can reach out to you, check out your podcast, Pet Health Cafe, check out My Paleo Pet, everything that you got that can help them not only with their animals, but their humans too.
Well, you mentioned the Pet Health Cafe. Great show that we've been doing now in our 18th season. I provide as much different information as I can on not only where the problems are coming from, something that, most practitioners would never tell you what the cause of it is. And, we show you then steps by step how we can, A, prevent it, and B, fix it after the fact. A lot of the products, of course, that and the concepts that we have incorporated into My Paleo Pet and into the BioComplete line. The retail store is in Pompano Beach, Florida. Online with mypaleopet.com, biocompletenaturaldiets.com. Those will take you to that. For the website, of course, here on the Talk 4 TV networks and on pethealthcafe.com. We try to get out there all over the place, and we're on most of the major platforms. So you don't have to just look for us on YouTube, but across multiples while you're driving, iHeartRadio, among 100 different platforms. I can't keep track anymore.
Yeah,
but
we're
out
over
there. Of course,
100.
I also do magazine articles. Yep, and magazine articles in various magazines, which are also available online, and I'm available for consultations. You just got to go on the My Paleo Pet website, and you can book a private consultation with me. And it doesn't matter whether it's for your pet. Start out with the pet, that way I don't get in trouble, and then we can just move to you.
There you go. So thanks a lot, Pet Health Guru. You are always a wealth of information and a great help to our loved ones, meaning our pets, because I don't really like the humans. And then I love your show too. So everybody's got to tune in to the Pet Health Cafe, because if you love your pet, that's where your pet has a voice.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.